What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the Movie Bunker where physical media is alive and well. I'm Fork Outlaw, and it is that time. It is that time where we show off a bunch of new movies I got here in the collection. I was going to wait and do this video at the end of, the start of August, end of July, but I've gotten a lot of stuff here, and I don't want to have a huge haul. I like to keep these videos under 20 minutes if I can. I don't want to show off a bunch of titles. So, with that being said, I do have a lot of stuff here, a lot of cool stuff I want to show you guys and talk to you guys about. I have recently started trying to rebuild my Screen Factory slipcover collection. As some of you guys may or may not know, if you were following me over on TikTok, back in the winter, I had a huge catastrophe here in the movie bunker. I lost a lot of movies, and a lot of my slipcovers were damaged. Fortunately, I was lucky enough that I had steelbooks to counteract. Like, so for example, like They Live, I had the steelbook when the slipcover got ruined. But after talking with Craig and Tommy, and a huge thank you to everybody that checked out mine and Craig's live stream of our top 10 favorite Screen Factories. There's just something more fun about collecting the slipcovers. So I've been kind of on a mission to get back some of the 4K slipcovers I've missed. So, you're going to see some stuff that I've probably already shown. I'm going to try to insert some pictures here of the water damage that occurred. I don't know for sure if I showed this off or not. I honestly, I don't. So up first, we have the Screen Factory Blu-ray for Bordello of Blood. I have vehemently defended how much I prefer Demon Knight over this, but I have to be honest with you. After I watched this, and I watched the special features, the documentary about how hard this movie was to make and how bad Dennis Miller's attitude was. Um, I really enjoyed it. I still prefer Demon Knight, obviously, but I'm happy to have this one back in the collection. And again, if I've already showed this, I apologize. But yeah, happy to have Bordello of Blood back. Happy to have Bordello of Blood back in the collection. Alrighty, sent over from Kino Lorber, we have the Blu-ray for Beethoven. Again, happy to have this one in the collection. I grew up watching this movie back in the day. I've heard rumors that we're going to get a 4K, but the Blu-ray for me now is fine. I have a hard time kind of watching these kids' movies I've seen 1,000 times when I was younger, but I do plan on rewatching this probably sometime in November. I also received Strange Journey. Now, this was sent over from Alliance Entertainment. This is a very lengthy documentary about the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Again, I may have already showed this. If I have, I apologize. I did watch it. Great documentary. I love horror movie documentaries, or any documentary really based on a movie, and this was a fun one. My good friend Joy sent this over off of the old Amazon wish list. We have Bad Moon here on Blu-ray. Again, this is one I have never seen. This is a Screen Factory edition. I have heard nothing but good things about this. I have this saved in my October watch pile. I'm a huge fan of werewolf movies, and this looks like it has a little kid from Dennis the Menace in it. I'm not sure if that's who that is, but it sure does look like him. And again, thank you so much, Joy, for sending this over, bro. We've got a plethora. Everything else here is 4K, and I'm certain I haven't shown these off. The good folks over at Kino Lorber were nice enough to send a couple of titles off of their Kino Summer Heat Sale. And the first one I requested was The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. I am always trying to get more 4K horror, especially from Kino Lorber. This is one that I've been that several people in my live streams have requested and asked if I've never ever seen. I have not. I do have a plan on watching this this September, October. Loads of bonus features, and I cannot wait to dive into this one. They were also nice enough to send over a copy of Rawhead Rex. Now, I've always defended this movie. This is a fun creature feature. Did I say that right? Yeah, creature feature. This has got a screenplay from Clive Barker, and one of Kino's best in terms of special features. You get tons of special features on this release. Again, I like this movie. I know it's not for everybody, but it's always one that I've enjoyed watching. Huge thank you to my good friend Paul over, aka Slasher Junkie. He sent me over a copy of The Mangler on 4K. This is the Vinegar Syndrome release. Now, funny enough, I just watched this movie for the first time last year. I had the Blu-ray, and last year Robert Englund came to Scarefest, so I was trying to watch a bunch of his movies. I found this. I actually really enjoy this movie. This movie is directed by Tobe Hooper, and this is a Vinegar Syndrome. This is a really nice addition for this 4K. So I'm really looking forward to diving into this one. There was a couple of movies I watched with Robert Englund. This was one of them, and then I think 2001 Maniacs were two of my favorite performances I've seen him in outside of Freddy Krueger. And if you haven't seen The Mangler, I highly recommend it. And again, Vinegar Syndrome has no equals when it comes to these nice box set editions. I love the simplicity of the artwork on that. Hell, let's open it. This is really odd. This has a very, like, it's all, it almost feels flocked, like the Funko Pops. That's really cool. This friggin' slipcover, dude. This is sick. Check this out. What a cool slip for this. And then, of course, you get that iconic artwork. And I'm sure it's got reverse art, too. I wonder what the reverse art is. So the reverse art is just the actual movie poster. But I like the simplicity of just the bones for the inner box. It also comes with a booklet. But I can't get over how this box feels. It's flocked. You know, like when you buy the Funko Pops that are like the hair, like Chewbacca, where it's supposed to emulate like the feeling of hair. That is what this box feels like. That's really cool. All right, guys, listen. Let's just go ahead and talk about Mortal Kombat, the box set from Arrow Video. Listen, it's one thing where Arrow Video can give you an awesome box set, but it's another thing when the insides, the innards, the video quality, the sound, all that stuff is peak, and it is. The Mortal Kombat is never going to look better than it does on this release right here. I watched this the day that it came in. I was on a Mortal Kombat high with the release of Mortal Kombat 2 over the summer. This is why Arrow Video is head and shoulders above everybody else. I love the set. I love the transfer on part one. I haven't seen Annihilation yet. I don't hate Annihilation as much as everybody else does. I always kind of watch it with, childhood eyes, I guess, if you want to. It's definitely a step down, though, from the original. But I love Mortal Kombat. This is my favorite Mortal Kombat movie of all time. I like the new ones. I love the first Mortal Kombat. So happy to have this on Arrow Video 4K. And yeah, I'm going to eventually get my collection set up where all my Arrow videos are together. And I cannot wait to see this standing or sitting right beside of my Ninja Turtle set. Because both of these were very important video game movie adaptations for my childhood. I kind of told myself I wasn't going to buy any more of these Screen Factory 4K, Shout Factory, Shout Select 4Ks when there's not anything extra with it. And I lied. I picked up the Burbs. Pretty solid transfer. I mean, listen, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that you need to. I mean, it's still hard for me to believe that they don't offer reverse artwork on these. I'm not going to sit here and tell you like, hey, take your copy, your 4K, your Blu-ray, and trade it in right now and pick up the 4K. Because sure, it is a fun 4K. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. If it hadn't been, I wouldn't have bought it. But to be honest with you, if you have the Blu-ray, you're probably set. The transfer is cool, but it's not gonna reinvent the wheel. And to be honest with you, I would have been just fine with the Blu-ray. I mean, again, at least with the Blu-ray, you got some cool new art. But as it is, I'm happy to have the Burbs on 4K. And again, if for some reason you don't have the Blu-ray and you just have the basic Blu-ray, you can pick up the 4K of this and it's a Blu-ray combo pack and just watch both. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't sure I was going to pick this up, and the more time that passed, I just knew I had to get it, and I went ahead and grabbed the Leprechaun 4K Steelbook. Again, Lionsgate Limited has absolutely no equal when it comes to the Steelbooks. I know this is kind of a controversial release. I just got this like a week ago, so I think I have the new, whatever you'd call it, the new approved um, transfer. To be honest with you, I just watched this movie for the first time a few years ago. I actually really liked the first one. I wasn't a huge fan of some of the sequels. I got this for, I think it was like $35. Had the code for $10. Again, man, you go to Walmart and buy a Screen Factory Steelbook, you're paying the same price and you're not getting the same quality. I'm not trying to pick on Screen Factory. I'm just stating a fact. If you go to Walmart right now and pick up Drag Me to Hell or one of their steelbooks, you're paying $32.99 without a digital code. This is This is $34.99 with a digital code and a slip. And again, the slip makes his face, and then when you take the slip cover off, you get the awesome artwork. Anytime Lionsgate Limited puts something out like this, I'm going to pick it up. Sent over from Alliance Entertainment and available on August the 11th. We have the new 4K for Hokum. Another one I haven't got a chance to watch yet. Everybody, when I was talking about how good Obsession was telling me I need to check out Hokum. So now that I've got this in the collection, I cannot wait to check this out. Picked this up on Orbit DVD, and that is Prom Night. I could not pass this up. I bought the Frankenhooker release, and these Synapse releases are starting to become my favorites in terms of quality, the packaging, the way they look. And, I remember I didn't love Prom Night, when I watched it back in the day, and it's one that the more I watch, the more I've kind of started to fall in love with and like a little bit more. I get in these mood where I want to watch slashers, and for some reason, every time I watch this one, it makes me want to watch Slaughter High, which I think is a far better high school slasher film. But nonetheless, you got to get Prom Night. This is a much anticipated release for all of us fans of horror, and a 4K from Synapse. I'm going to promote and do everything I can to get eyes on this. Again, I picked this up on Orbit DVD. Perfect, flawless shipping as always. Really looking forward to diving into this. I'm planning on doing a double feature of Frankenhooker and Prom Night. That's probably kind of weird, but I want to do like an in-depth. I know nobody watches those videos, but I like doing these like where I talk about the release, the special features, and I want to do one for Frankenhooker and Prom Night and discuss the price tag because they are pricey. These are spendy releases. These are $50 a piece without a digital code, so you're investing in these. But I will invest in horror, and I will always promote it the best I can, especially when it's presented so nicely. When this came in, I was so excited. The good folks over at Kino Lorber sent me over Deadly Blessing. Now, back in the day when I was going really hard with the Scream Factories, this was one of the ones I bought, and for some reason, I hesitated to watch it. I didn't want to watch it. I wasn't as invested in it as I was hoping. But when I watched it, it became one of my favorite Wes Craven movies. Now, this came out in 1981. This is before Nightmare, but you can see some hints of Nightmare in this. This is before Nightmare, and this is obviously before Scream. To be honest with you, probably a controversial take. My favorite Wes Craven movie of all time is the original Nightmare on Elm Street, followed by Scream. And my third pick, even over when we start, going over the Scream sequels and stuff, whatever, I would put this behind those. This is my favorite movie that he has ever done that isn't a Nightmare on Elm Street or a Scream. I love this movie. I love the atmosphere. This is like a who did it, but it's on a farm, and you have like the Amish, the Hittites on one side. You have this crazy woman and her daughter on the other side. You have a newlywed with her husband. And for whatever reason, I had such a good time when this came in. It just so happened I had the time to put it in, to watch it. And what's funny is I was messaging my friend Tommy Starr, TD Healthy, whenever I was watching this, and after it was over, and I said, it bums me out that Wes Craven didn't get to live long enough to be, to do the convention scene. Now, I'm sure he did some conventions, but I mean like now with like Texas Frightmare, Scarefest. I wish that I had gotten the chance to to tell, to talk to him about how much I love this movie, and always have. You guys know that I love movies with a quote with a mean ending or a meanness. This has a mean fucking ending, and I really like this ending of this movie. Very trapped and isolated feeling in this movie because, like I said, it is on a farm, and there's a scene where a cop says, if something happens, I'm not going to be able to get here to you in time, and I just love the scene in it. It's got Ernest Borgnine in it. Did I say that right? I believe so. And you think when you're watching this movie, just because Wes Craven is so good with movies, you think you know who did it, you think you know who it is, and then it's the exact opposite of who you think. And then it just a wham bam. I love this movie. And the transfer. Let's talk about the transfer. The transfer on this is definitely worth picking up. Kino, in my opinion, does solid transfers. Keeps the grain. The thing about these Kinos is if I tell you, like if I say go pick up a Kino, you're talking about $25, $30 for a Kino. A very fair price for a 4K Blu-ray combo pack. It's different than if I go tell you to pick up Synapse release of Prom Night for that's $50. As far as an affordable boutique label that gives you quality monthly consistently, you have to give it up to Kino. They don't have really any competition in terms of a monthly. Every month they have new releases and their quality releases. Deadly Blessing, pick it up. On to probably the most polarizing movie of the year as far as horror, and we were talking about Obsession. Now, I was super late to the game of seeing this. I went probably 2 weeks after it came out, and I'm going to just be completely honest in this. I went and watched the movie with my friend. He's about 20 years younger than I am. We left the theater. He actually stopped and talked to all of his, friends at the theater. I drove home, tested and come. And when I got here, I said to her, I think that maybe I've outgrown horror. I think that maybe my horror heyday is in the past, because I didn't love this movie the way that everyone else was talking about how great it was. To me, it was like living through Hereditary all over again. For years, all I ever heard was Hereditary, Hereditary. And don't get me wrong, Hereditary is a great movie, but when it is being compared to every single movie that comes out afterwards, I got tired of hearing about it. I got tired of people comparing, the new Halloween movies to Hereditary, and it was like, for me, it's common sense. You cannot compare the two. It would be like comparing, the Shawshank Redemption to Microwave Massacre. Hereditary is a great film. Don't get me wrong, but it made me hate the movie because of how much everyone kept blowing it. And so I was getting that way with Obsession. Every time I did a movie review or talked about a movie, including Toy Story, for God's sakes, people were like, "Well, it's not as good as Obsession, Obsession, Obsession." And it was, I was going to make a video saying I don't get the obsession with Obsession. And now this goes to the importance of a second watch. I felt the same way about the Black Phone. I left the Black Phone. I went and watched it with Tess. She was talking about how great it was, and I didn't get it. I was in a weird mood. Um, I've been very vocal in the past that I suffer from depression. I have anxiety issues and stuff. So I wasn't in the greatest mindset when I went and watched this. And for about 4 or 5 days after, I was still kind of in a funky mood. And on top of that, this movie kind of like enhanced it, we'll say. I'm more of a fan of like a fun movie. Like I'm more of a fan of like Halloween Kills or the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I'm more of an old school, like, that kind of fun. I like leaving the theater happy, not, sappy or crappy. This was $27. I sold the code instantly for $10. So I'm about $20 into the hole with that, and I was cool with it. So I watched this over the weekend with Tess, and it sank in. Like it hit. Like it clicked with me. I saw so many different things when I watched this a second time that I missed when I went and saw it in theaters. This movie was weird because we have a lot going on right now, and so we both took the time to put our phones away and watch it. I just caught more. I don't know. I caught more things. I caught more little subtle notes, from Nikki to Bear, and I think this is a really great really strong horror movie, and not only that, a really important one because this movie has just showed just went to show how important independent horror is, and for this to have had such a small budget and have made as much as it did, it's on the same. It's a special movie, and I do. Let me just say this though, I do like the movie. I don't love the movie, so I still think it's a great movie. It isn't one though that I'm gonna watch every year. Like I'm gonna watch all the Jasons every year. I'm gonna watch all the Halloweens every year, the Texas Chainsaws every year, the Freddy's every year. I love those movies. This is going to be one I'll watch probably when I get in the mood to watch Hereditary, which I do get in the mood to watch a movie once every 3 or 4 years. But again, had to pick it up. Obsession. Clearly, in my opinion, um, one of the best horror movies of the year. I would have to really think about that if I'm going to put it above the Bone Temple. But nonetheless, I really enjoyed it. Alrighty, now on to the fun stuff. The fun movies. I picked up The Dead Zone, the Scream Factory. So what happened is my slip for this got toasted in the water, and the movie was still sealed. So I sent the movie to Tommy to give to his son, and I just realized it was just cheaper to just rebuy this. It was like $17.99 with the slip. It was cheaper to buy this movie again than to just kind of get the slip separately. So love The Dead Zone, really solid Stephen King movie, and like I said, I'm just trying to get these slips back. One of my favorite movies that a lot of times since I got married to Tess, I have been showing her movies, but in this is one of the few exceptions where she showed me a movie. I always love a movie with a story. Tess told me a story about how her and her friend wanted to go watch this and they lived too far away. Tess lived way out in the country. And so they rented a hotel room, went swimming, and that night they went and watched Drag Me to Hell. And I'm glad that I got to share this with her because, like I said, I like mean movies, and this is a mean movie. Again, I had the slipcover. This one was open though, obviously. I had to get this one back. I got this for a fairly good price. The slip is starting to get a little bit pricey online. I think I grabbed this on Mercari. Maybe I've had some luck with Mercari, and I had no idea, but it was still sealed. So again, I'm really looking forward to checking this one out. I love a good mean horror movie, and this one's mean. When I was doing the top 10 with Craig, it drove me crazy that I didn't have the slipcover edition for Return of the Living Dead. I just had the Scream Factory Steelbook. Again, I had no idea that this one came sealed too, but it was. I love this movie, man. This movie has grown on me so much. I love this franchise. Uh, the special features on this are impeccable. I can't remember the name of the More Brains. That's it. More Brains is the name of the documentary. Just an awesome documentary. I had to get this one back in the collection. And last but not least, this movie caused me so much anxiety trying to get the slipcover for this back in the day on Blu-ray. And if I didn't have a friend named Culture Trini that had one that would give me a good deal on it, I would have probably never got it. And so I grabbed They Live. Now, I had this 4K. I bought this from Best Buy the day it came out. I think I grabbed this and like Prince of Darkness, but this is another one of the ones that got toasted. I have the steelbook somewhere right here. And so now I have my one of my favorite. And you know, the thing is like when I was doing my top 10, I had gotten so far behind, I forgot to add this. And then on top of that, I forgot to add Demon Knight until we were already into it. So if I could go back and redo it, I'd have probably found the way to squeeze these two in there. They Live and Demon Knight. But again, man, I had to get this one back. I got this one. I looked a few months back, was going for like $40 or $50 with the slip, and I found it on eBay for like $24. So I bought it instantly. And I'm going to just replace my steelbook with this. And now we have, I think with this, yes, with this update, I have now converted all my steelbooks back to slipcovers. So guys, thank you all so much. We are currently, I believe, 10 followers away from 1,100 followers or subscribers. That is awesome. Thank you guys all so much for the support. I do appreciate when you guys check out these videos. Until next time, farewell from the Movie Bunker. I'll see you at the movies.